Hey Tim, how you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. That's just something we're seeing.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Hi
I
Zeta.
can't hear you guys.
Okay. Hmm.
Ah, I can hear you now.
Testing
would
one,
help
two,
if I-
three.
It
Yeah,
would help if I plug in my microphone.
Ah,
I got it now. So, hello, Roger.
Howdy. Can you hear me?
Hi, Rob.
yes.
Yep, I can
Roger.
hear you.
Okay.
Hi, Tim. Good to see you.
Cool.
So, so these are image slideshows. So we've got a Zoom call. So you got these situations here. And so what
Weird sound.
Ah. This is how exciting things are on a semi-holiday. And we're
Semi-holiday.
coming early to be with the meeting. And there's our city manager. All right.
Hi, Matthew.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Good afternoon, teacher.
Gosh, it looks as if all the cool kids are here tonight.
You know, I don't see why we can't have dinner brought to our homes when we're like all zoomed in here.
Sorry.
I second
Not
that
you,
motion.
Matthew.
I second that motion.
Are we adjourning? Now I see everybody.
So we're just missing Darla. Oh, we still have 5 minutes.
Is Linda calling in?
I believe so.
Memorize. Now he's saying we can get one November 9th. It's an executive session. Oh, litigation.
Miller's in the meeting.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Hello.
All is now well with the world.
What was that?
Linda, this is Roger, just saying all is well with the world now that you're here.
Okay. If that were only true.
For only that simple.
Exactly.
Is Daniel in his office? I don't think so. I think that's at home. Everybody worked out. I didn't expect anything except for
Be yourself.
Okay, I've got 5:30, so I'm going to call the meeting to order with my new gavel.
What is it, a shoe?
Vacuum cleaner.
Oh.
Okay. May I ask the city clerk to please call the roll?
Darcy Long Curtis,
Present.
Rod Runyon,
Here.
Scott Randall,
Here.
Tim McLaughlin,
Here.
Linda Miller.
Here.
Thank you.
And Mayor Mays.
Mayor Mays.
I'm present. I will lead everyone in the Pledge of Allegiance. I believe there's a flag in the conference room where Julie and Izetta are. So why don't we stand and I'll lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under
God,
indivisible,
visible,
liberty and justice for
justice
all.
for all.
Thank you, everyone. I'm now looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Anybody?
Miller approves the agenda, a move to approve the agenda as presented.
McLaughlin will second.
It's been moved by Counselor Miller and seconded by Counselor McLaughlin to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 I trust that's unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 5 on the is audience participation. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject which does not later appear on the agenda. 5 minutes per person will be allowed. If a response by the city is requested, the speaker will be referred to the city manager for further action. The issue may appear on a future meeting agenda for city council consideration. Is there anyone present that would like to address the city council? I see a hand raised. I see Davina and Philip.
Davina. Yeah, my name is
Great.
Davina Craig. My address is 701 State Road. And my topic is the hiring of city tutors. And I did not see that on the agenda. Is that on today's agenda?
No, ma'am, it was on last week's, the last council meeting. It was on the agenda then.
Yes.
So you may go ahead and give your comment.
Then these are my public comments. I disapprove of the budget amendment to include money for public use for city employees' children ages K through 6 to have a tutor. It is unjust. I believe it's unethical. And I also believe it opens the city to potential lawsuit risk by employees who do not receive this benefit, who have students in grade 7 through 12. In addition, I think there are potential lawsuits from people who are taxpayers. I do not believe there is appropriate and clear notice to the public that this position for a tutor or tutors were being created, and there was not appropriate input available for public prior to the hiring and authorization of these funds.
Thank you. Does anybody anybody want to respond or ask any questions of, what did you say your last name was?
Craig, C-R-A-I-G.
Okay, and your address on State Street?
701.
State Street. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? Anybody? I only see 9 frames, so if anybody wants to speak, please yell out or raise your hand. Okay, thank you very much. Item 6 on the agenda is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor Mays. The city council, excuse me, asked for an update on the graffiti ordinance that the council adopted about a year ago. And we had said we would come back with some information on it. So here's what I have for you tonight. The Codes Enforcement Officer has been working with youth services at Wasco County, and they've had approximately 56 different incidents of graffiti or tagging. And so the city code enforcement officer sends the picture and address of the location to the county youth services, and they go to the property and place a door hanger on their door and wait for the response. They said, this is from the Nicole Beeman at the county that works for youth services. The process has gone quite well, and homeowners are usually very responsive and willing to accept our help. And so far, the total cost for youth services has only been about $400 for that year. They think it's a very successful partnership. So that was that information. Then I did want to let you know that the city Public Works Department has been working with MCED, Mid-Columbia Economic Development District, who are making signs that say catch the link bus and public transportation. So they're paying for those signs and designing them, but Public Works will be helping. Dave, if I'm saying this incorrectly, feel free to correct me, that we will install them and provide hardware. Is that correct? Yeah. So that's just another little partnership that's going on I wanted to let you know about. So far, we have no items for the October 26th council meeting agenda. So if we don't get anything that comes up in the next day or so, we'll probably be canceling that meeting. And then just one other thing, I had a great idea shared with me today from Wasco County. They're working on economic recovery programs as well for our local businesses. And one of the ideas that they came up with was if Wasco County and the city of the Dalles could share in the cost of waiving the annual license fees for all the food service facilities in our county, which is just one more burden. And we still have well over $400,000 left in our economic recovery funds that we budgeted. So it would include all the different restaurants. They have, there's probably 100 restaurants in Wasco County, mobile units, benevolent food services, and warehouse. I don't have I didn't bring all the exact descriptions with me, but the total for Wasco County would be $77,895, which would be $38,948 to the city if we shared that equally. So after speaking with the county administrator today, I thought that was a great idea. It was perfect timing because we have a council meeting tonight, and while I already have the authority to spend that dollar amount, I wanted to just run it by the council and see if there was consensus that this would be a good use of a little bit of those funds.
Does anybody have any comments about Julie's suggestion?
McLaughlin, I support this path.
I see Councilor Long Curtis has her hand up.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I was just going to say that I also support this. It's been very difficult on our restaurants and food services, and this is just, I realize it's a small token, but it is something we can do to help.
Thank you.
Miller supports.
Councilor Runyon.
On the surface, sounds like a great idea. Was there a part of the discussion regarding some sort of a list of questions, et cetera, to verify and make sure all requests are valid?
I don't believe they've gotten that far, Councilor Runyon. I noticed on the list that they provided that one of the restaurants is actually not in business anymore. So they would need to, go through that list and make sure that everyone is still open for business. So it might be just a slightly smaller amount than what I said to you. I was just asking basically for your nod of approval. If you like the concept, then I would go ahead and work with them, and we would probably get that done fairly quickly. I think the licenses fees are January through December, so they're preparing right now to send out the notices. Matthew's nodding his head, that's correct.
No, I definitely agree with the concept of the program. We just want to make sure we check things out and whatnot, have some sort of a 5-question answer or whatever to, verify everything. But sounds like a good idea.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other questions for Julie? Okay, with that, Julie, you feel you've got the consensus that you were looking for?
I do, thank you. And I'll go ahead and continue to work with Tyler, with the county, or Matthew, whoever's going to take on that project, and we'll move that forward. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the city attorney report. Mr. Kara.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So today I attended the Oregon City Attorneys Association, had a continuing legal education seminar going over a number of touching issues for cities all across the state, as well as their annual membership meeting. Specifically, we went over some new legislative and judicial updates surrounding land use throughout the state. Specifically, we also went over SB 1049, which refers to formerly retired employees coming back to city employment and what that can mean for the city as far as financial implications and for budgeting. We also went over SDCs, which are system development charges, and LIDs, which are local improvement districts. And as those two concepts relate to the way that cities can finance different projects, as well as the different taxing implications that certain city ordinances can apply. And then finally, we went over the 2020 legislative update, as well as some pretty well-informed prediction on what the 2021 legislative cycle is going to look like at the state level. And there are some hot button issues that we're going to be taking a closer look at as we get closer and closer to the next year to see about different ways that the state can, make our lives harder or better. And we'll just have to wait and see. But of course, we'll keep you and the city council updated as we learn more. And I'm happy to share more specifics about the things that we went over today. And I'll have that ready for you guys for the next city council meeting.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Jonathan? Okay. Moving on to item 8, city council reports. The first face I see on my screen is Councilor Runyon.
There we go. Okay. Just a couple of things. On September 29th, did a over computer meeting with the American Red Cross briefing on Oregon and the wildfires in Southern Oregon primarily. And Red Cross was in the process of shutting down several of their facilities, which meant things were improving for citizens in the area. On October the 8th, I also was involved in a League of Oregon Cities meeting, and it had a number of topics within it. One was wildfires, of course. Jackson County had 60% of the structural damage in the state was in Jackson County. Also, they had a section on the coronavirus and updating on that as we're getting those every day. So I won't go into that. And the Oregon Health Authority was on there as well. And a couple of other things. I'm looking down my list here. The U.S. Small Business Administration also has programs for homeowners and so forth. You still apply through FEMA to get that word out, but then FEMA will refer it to the Small Business Administration. And a lot of people are unaware that homeowners may have some benefits through that chain of command there. So we just want to help get that word out. And I think that's hitting most of the news centers around the state. But that's not only homeowners, also renters could be involved, or auto losses. But you go through FEMA to begin with, and then it's referred over to the SBA. So that was interesting. A lot of news on money out there for debris removal, water pipes, pools, lots of interesting items. And both those organizations, of course, or have their own websites. So you might want to check that out at the Small Business Administration. That's all I got.
Thank you. Counselor Miller,
Nothing to report.
Counselor Long Curtis, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry, couldn't find my mute button for a second there. Since the last council meeting, I participated in 3 or 4 of the virtual community outreach team meetings with you and other members of the community outreach team. I also attended the Housing Stability Council's statewide call. That was very interesting to hear what's going on throughout the state. I participated in the Oregon Virtual Digital Government Summit, trying to learn how other entities throughout the United States are using new technologies with all these challenges that we're facing with COVID and how to be efficient with that. I attended the Oregon Housing Solutions Winter Sheltering webinar, and it was very interesting because we actually got a shout out on that for the work that we're trying to do here locally with pallet shelters. I was invited and did participate in the housing discussion that's going to be part of the Community Health Improvement Plan through our COCs, and Sarah Kellums from the Hood River Shelter Services and I were interviewed by Arizona State University master's students in investigative journalism, and they're doing a story about nationwide how people are using these funds that we were trying to use for the pallet shelters, and we had to get the special HUD waiver in order to be able to use those. And so they're using us as the model for the rural perspective, and we have a couple more weeks till it goes to print, and I'm hoping to be able to tell them that we're successful, because Hood River's just become successful. So I'd like us to be able to say we are too. And then, so that's it for the things that I participated in. But with everything that's going on with the homeless issues, and there are many, and then if we have a light session on the 26th, I would like to request that we do a work session, or at least part of our meeting as a work session, and that we invite not only our group and our attorney, but also Wasco County and the Mid-Columbia Center for Living, because I feel that we've been trying to engage on a staff level with Center for Living, and I feel like the communication is just not working. And so I would like to see their board of directors, which are one county commissioner from each of the 3 Sherman, Wasco, and Hood River counties also attending. I don't know what they have to do to not, have a quorum, but the information that the chief sent out, that's just ridiculous. And we absolutely have to do something. And I'm very frustrated by this. And I know that people have been working on it, but behind the scenes, the problem is the public doesn't know what we're doing and they feel like it's nothing. So I think we need to do something in a public forum. I think we need to get this out there. Thank you.
Does anybody have any comments about Councilor Long Curtis's suggestion that we have a work session on October 26th? I would certainly support that if the rest of the council. I think having a new executive director from the Center for Living would be pretty important myself. Anybody else?
I definitely think she should be there, but I'm saying I definitely want the board, not just the executive director, because of specific experiences.
Do you know how many board members they have? Maybe Councilor Runyon knows that. That's all? Okay. Anybody else?
McLaughlin, I would support that. Yes.
Okay.
Scott, did you? I did not. Excuse me, Mayor?
Yes.
Councilor Randall, did you comment on that?
No, I do support it though.
Okay. And Counselor Runyon, I thought I saw you with the thumbs up.
Did you hear from Linda?
No, you didn't.
Miller supports.
Perhaps Counselor Long Curtis can get together with the city manager and get some framework for the discussion.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you. Okay, anything else on that issue? Okay, Counselor Randall, do you have a report?
Nothing to report.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes, last Saturday, along with the Lions and the Beautification Committee, I was up at the Rose Garden spreading bark. If you haven't been up there to look at the Rose Garden, it's just looking great. So I recommend people to stop by. Been working with Jim Wilcox to find security solutions to prevent vandalism, not only at the Rose Garden, but other areas at Cirrhosis Park. They're experiencing some vandalism to some of the exercise equipment. And I'll attend the airport committee meeting that's coming up this week, I believe. And I did call Darcy Long Curtis today to offer my support and with the homeless issue, just so that pulling together, I think, works. And by working together, we're more apt to accomplish our goals. I did call Tyler Stone. He is the administrator for Wasco County, and he reports that things are going very well between the city and the county, that he really appreciates the efforts by the city and the communication is going well. So I just want to report that back. I've also talked to Director Scott Baker at Parks and Rec. We have a weekly meeting, and I think that, you know, I listen to what's happening at the Parks and Rec, and I understand some of the issues that he's facing. It just better serves all of us when we keep lines of communication open, as well as with Police Chief Pat Ashmore. So those are the things that I've been working on this last 2 weeks, and that's my report.
Thank you, Councilor McLaughlin. I also would like to recognize the Lions Club and the Beautification Committee for the work they've done at Cirrhosis Park and the Park District. I was up there today and it looks absolutely beautiful. The teaser wall, I spent several hours hanging around the new teaser wall on the west wall at 103 East 2nd Street, facing the back of City Hall. I really think that's a great addition to the city. And I also attended an award where the Beautification Committee awarded Julie and Harley Newland the Beautification Award for the month of October. The Newlands gave me permission to give their address. If you want to drive by and check out their yard, it's 419 East 10th Street. And they did a wonderful job with their yard, and I would encourage people to drive by and check it out. I attended the community cleanup on Saturday. My wife and I were pretty much hung around River Road and picked up litter by the dock. Councilor Long Curtis already mentioned the community outreach team. I did want to acknowledge that two of the people we met with were Representative Greg Walden and Senator Jeff Merkley. Both of them were able to meet with us in person. And I want to extend publicly my thanks to Representative Walden. It was really the last time we all have a chance to meet with him because of his impending retirement from the House. And we expressed our appreciation to Mr. Walden for all he's done for our area and for our community. And that concludes my report. Next is the consent agenda. Items of a routine and non-controversial nature are placed on the consent agenda to allow the City Council to spend its time and energy on the important items and issues. Any councilor may request an item be pulled from the consent agenda and be considered separately. Items pulled from the consent agenda will be placed on the agenda at the end of action items section. There are two items on the consent agenda. One is the approval of the September 28th City Council minutes, and the other one is the approval of the September 3rd special joint meeting with Wasco County and the Port of the Dalles, the minutes for that meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
This
Is
is
there a
Long
second?
Curtis, I'll second.
It's been moved by Council Randall and seconded by Council Long Curtis to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Miller,
Opposed?
aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, I have a follow-up question.
Yes. Council Runyon.
Two of the items, this is not for correction or anything, we already approved that, but just to bring to mind the two items within our meeting the last time. One was that former Mayor Steve Lawrence had brought up several things, and I'm hoping that we can get that on the agenda, some of the findings regarding the comments he made, and we talked about that at the last meeting. So hoping to get that scheduled in the next few meetings, if possible. And I think you've already talked about the homeless issue enough already, but that was another thing that we had on the in the minutes there to get back. And I appreciate the comments from Councilor Long Curtis and the city manager on that. But I would like to, hopefully we get some update on the things that former Mayor Lawrence was talking about in the weeks ahead.
I believe our city manager has a comment.
I just wanted to let you know, Councilor Runyon, that Mr. Lawrence did have a meeting with the interim planning director, Alice Cannon, and they are working through his comments.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments on the consent agenda? Okay, we'll move to item 10A, authorization of the purchase of an in-pipe camera system. I trust that our Director of Public Works will be handling this item.
That's correct.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of council. One of the items included in this year's city budget is the purchase of a new in-pipe camera system for the inspection of our sanitary and stormwater collection systems. The ability to do these types of inspections is important to the city's capacity management, operation and maintenance, or CMOM program for both of those two utilities. By being able to do those types of inspections, we're able to identify the condition of various pipes and prioritize pipe segments for either repair, rehabilitation, or replacement. Our current pipe system is getting pretty old. It's 13 years old. We've got some parts of it that are 25 years old. We're experiencing a lot of failures of the system. In the last few years, we spent over $15,000 in shipping and repair costs. And the last time, or one of the recent times we sent in for repair, we were notified that that element of the system was obsolete and we couldn't repair it without getting an upgrade. In preparation to replace the system, the city developed some specifications for what we would want a new system to be able to do. We tried out a number of systems. We found one that met the city specifications, and the operators within our wastewater collection division really liked the unit, the way that it functioned. That unit's manufactured by a company called RapidView, and it's sold and supported by SWS Equipment Incorporated, located in Spokane. We also contacted a number of other utilities that currently own the RapidView system, and we got very, very favorable feedback about its capabilities and the support for the system. We found that the system's available for purchase through a public procurement system called Sourcewell. City is a member of Sourcewell. Sourcewell obtains its pricing through competitive bidding and therefore fulfills the city's competitive bidding requirements. The cost to purchase this RapidView camera system through Sourcewell is $234,325.75. That price includes the purchase of the equipment, the installation and the startup of the system in the city's existing camera van, and 2 days of training. Current budget includes $250,000 in the Public Works Reserve Fund allocated for this purchase, and therefore the proposed purchase price of $234,325.75 is within the amount budgeted for this purpose. Staff's recommendation is the City Council move to authorize the purchase of a new RapidView pipeline video camera system from SWS Equipment Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $234,325.75. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Anderson? Hearing and seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the purchase.
Mayor Mays, I move to authorize the purchase of a new Rapid View pipeline video camera system from SWS Equipment Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $234,325.75.
Ms. Runyon, I'll second it.
It's been moved by Councilor McLaughlin and seconded by Councilor Runyon to authorize the purchase of the pipeline video camera system. Is there any more discussion? I'm going to ask for a roll call vote. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Darcy Long Curtis,
Aye.
Rod Runyon,
Aye.
Scott Randall,
Aye.
Linda Miller,
Aye.
Tim McLaughlin.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item 10B, authorization to purchase an emergency backup generator. Again, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you. This is a long-term need for the Public Works Department. We've known about the need since we relocated to our current facilities in 2008, but the budgets that we had available to us at that time did not allow us to be able to afford purchase of a backup generator when we were building this facility. We did, however, allocate, plan for the future installation of a backup generator, allocate a place for it and put some of the conduit in place to facilitate a future installation. We have tried on 2 separate occasions to obtain grant funding for this purchase. We were unsuccessful both times. This year in the preparation of the budget, we just finally bit the bullet and included funds to purchase the generator and the transfer switch outright. The unit selected, the generator selected, it'll be a Cummins unit that will allow it to be the same as the other 10 or so backup generators the Public Works Department already has throughout its system. The Cummins generator is available for purchase from Cummins Incorporated in Portland, actually through 2 different public procurement systems. One, again, the Sourcewell system, and the other one, the Houston Galveston Area Council Cooperative Purchasing Program, both of which the city is a member. The price is the same going through either program. The cost to purchase the Cummins generator, its automatic transfer switch and load bank would be $84,409. That it does include the equipment and startup testing. If the purchase of the generator is approved by council, the city will also be issuing a separate electrical services contract to install the generator. We advertised the project with local electricians. We only got 1 bid back from East Cascade Electric for $31,500. The purchase to the purchase and installation of the backup generator is proposed to be equally funded from the Transportation, Water Distribution, and Wastewater Collection Division. The adopted current city budget includes those funds equally split between the water, transportation, and wastewater funds at $41,000 each. The cost of the generator is projected to be, the total cost of the generator is projected to be $115,909, which is within the $123,000 budgeted. The city council, or excuse me, staff's recommendation is that city council move to authorize the purchase of a new emergency backup generator from Cummins in amount not to exceed $84,409.
Are there any questions for Mr. Anderson? I'd just like to compliment Mr. Anderson on your staff reports. Very thorough
Thank you.
and much appreciated. No questions?
None.
Do I hear a motion?
Miller moves to approve the authorization and to authorize the purchase of a new emergency backup generator system from Cummins Inc. in an amount not to exceed $84,409.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved by Counselor Miller and seconded by Counselor Lon Curtis to approve the purchase of the new emergency backup generator. Is there any more discussion? Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Darcy Long Curtis,
Aye.
Linda Miller,
Aye.
Tim McLaughlin,
Aye.
Scott Randall,
Aye.
Rod Runyon,
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Is there any other business to come before the council?
Miller wants to make a comment. We've been seeing on the news out of Portland, the destruction that has been going on down there with broken windows and statues being destroyed or knocked off their pedestals. Well, it's come to the Dalles. We had a city business on 2nd Street that a couple of people took a metal bench from down the block and threw it through their window. So we're not immune. This happened on Saturday night. I just wanted to bring it to the attention.
Thank you, Councilor Miller. I trust that the police were notified of this vandalism.
Oh, I'm sure they were.
Okay. Any other comments or questions before we adjourn? Okay, with that, I'm adjourning the meeting. Thank you all very much.